this movie feels like a painting in a museum. You know, you ever been to a museum and you're like yeah, you're like, but you legit don't get it. You're like, I don't get it.
But then when somebody come up and ask you, be like, sir, what do you think about this painting? Do you see the pain inside his eyes? And you're like, yeah, I see the pain.
Exactly.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Mostly Wrong Opinions. I am Tyrone. That is Devin. Today on the show, we have a Oscar-nominated film. This comes straight from the Sundance Festival, and it is called Drive My Car.
妻です。僕たちは確かに僕が一番恐れていたのは音を失うことだった。
First, off the bat, I was bored out of my mind. I could not stay up for this film. It's a 3-hour long film, and it's somebody that's talking a lot. And the whole thing is talking a lot, and it just gets me going in a wrong direction. Go ahead, my brother.
It is a very long movie, but the movie is about a playwright or a play director or stage play director who has experienced extreme tragedy, and suddenly he is no longer able to act in his plays. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna let someone else do it. I'm not gonna do it. This is a big shock to everyone. And he lets this guy, this young up-and-coming actor, play his role. And the twist is this young up-and-coming actor had an affair with his now deceased wife. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of unspoken tension between them. Now, you talked about how there's a lot of talking in this film.
So much.
This is a very, very talkative film. I'll be blunt with you. This is probably the least cinematic film I've seen in a long time, because this movie has two people talking to each other, and often they're like telling stories, right?
That's it.
But we don't see the story. We're just told the story. So we don't really get the full punch of it. But I think that's what this film is trying to say. It's because the play that this guy is trying to make, it is intentionally in a gajillion different languages, right? Some people are speaking English, some people are speaking Japanese, some people are speaking Mandarin, some people are speaking Korean, some people are speaking Korean Sign Language. So at some point, no matter where you are on the planet, you're not going to understand what someone is saying, right? And you've got to pick up on other cues to try and understand how what this person is trying to convey to you.
Yeah, but with that point being said, it is impressive. Okay, that is impressive that all of those languages can be in here, and they are telling, even though it may not be cohesive to me, it's just they're telling a cohesive story. Is it
cohesive? Because it's unclear what the movie is way into the film. I didn't understand what the hell this movie is about until probably 3/4 in, and then you're like,
but it's there. But it's there. But here's the thing: they didn't even start the credits till 40.
Exactly. So this is
40
a long
minutes
movie.
in.
It's a long movie, and the opening credits don't start until like 45 minutes into the film. And at this point, at about the 45 minute point into the film, for most films, this is the midpoint. This is where your character has already stated his goal. He's already gone after his goal, and he's already achieved his goal. At this point, the movie hadn't started proper, right? At 45 minutes deep, and which I think is tough. Not only that, what also makes this movie challenging is this movie is cold. Ice cold. Man. There is very, very little emotion. As a matter of fact, there's a character in this film that is very emotional. And he starts, because he's an actor, and he starts doing his lines, really emotionally. And the director's like, no. Slow down. Less. And you're like, what? Less than that? I was enjoying that.
And he said that, he was like, huh?
Exactly. And I think what he's trying to say is the text of this play they're trying to do, it's like a Russian play or something. The text of this play, there are layers that you get from just the text, and then there are layers of communication that you get from a performance, from body language. Like, he won't even let his actors stand up they've got to sit down for a table read until they kind of like earn the right to like stand up and emote with their body. They just have to just read the text. And he's so strict with the timing. He's like, because he often practices this play with a recording where everything, the timing is like spot on.
Yep.
Which makes this film very stoic, very cold, and I bet this is probably one of the most difficult films for most people to get through.
This guy right here.
I think 99% of moviegoers will look at this movie and be like, what the hell? Oh, what the fuck?
Even though 99% of viewers is going to say that, this is the cream of the crop for the Oscars. They love this.
Yes, it's been nominated for a lot of awards. Drive My Car has been nominated for Best Picture. It's been nominated for International Feature Film. It's been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, because this is adapted from, ironically, a short story. A 3-hour film came from a short story.
Short story.
and this has also been nominated for Best Director. So you think, why? Why is this nominated for so much stuff? And this is such a like uncinematic film. It's very nebulous. You don't even understand what the heck this movie is until you are really, really deep. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of that is, and this is just my opinion, my mostly wrong opinion, I think it is pretentious. I think that's the only reason why it's nominated for so many awards. I think if you like to dig at a film, there's probably a lot here to dig at, right? Because this is truly a character study. This is truly characters standing in a room talking to each other in a foreign language to everyone. Not just if you don't speak Japanese, but if you speak Japanese, there's people are still speaking a foreign language because characters will speak Mandarin. If you happen to speak Mandarin and Japanese, well, this is still foreign language because some people speak English. If you happen to speak Mandarin, Japanese, and English, this is still foreign language because some people are speaking sign language. So this is truly a foreign language film for everyone, and I think they did that on purpose.
Now there's one thing that you just didn't even talk about in this whole thing right here. The whole reason why the whole thing is called "Drive My Car."
Right. I feel like there's a lot of reasons why that is, but why do you think that is?
I don't know why. I just know that he got hired to do this theater residency, and then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna give you a driver," and he's like, "Okay, drive my car."
Well, yes, that is what happens. Did say that. That is what happens.
I didn't mean it as being a joke, but he literally told the chick, drive my car, because he didn't want to be chauffeured in a different type of car because he wanted that car.
Yeah, he's got like an old like 90s car that seems to be very close to him. But I think the movie is trying to say that to drive a car is like to have power. Just like in Hustle and Flow, like I'm in charge.
I'm in charge.
You're my partner.
I know.
Say I'm in charge.
I'm in charge.
Like when you drive a car, you're in charge. And he often, in the beginning of the film, he is driving the car. He's physically driving his car. Mm-hmm. But as the film goes on, he relinquishes that power to literally drive his car. But then he also relinquishes the starring role in his play, which he would normally play this role, but he gives it to someone else. He essentially hands the keys over of his metaphorical car to someone else, right? And I think that's because our main character has a hard time with direct communication. So to get into, I guess, spoilers, I don't know, but the whole point of the film is, it would seem that our main character and his wife have a very great, like a perfect relationship. They seem to be having, awesome sex.
She's a playwright.
Yeah.
And then she says she tells her stories to him after they have sex.
Right. So on the surface, it seems like they just got a great relationship. Perfect. Like yin and yang, like they just fit together like this. But then we learn that they don't at all. That she has been cheating on him. And not only that, he knows it. Not only that, he knows who she's cheating on him with. And it's the guy that he decided to have star in his play. But his inability to confront his wife about it is, in a way, he's unable to drive his own car, right? To take control of his own life. And there's a point in the film where the wife, it seems like she wants to admit, to confess that she has been cheating on him, but she suddenly has a brain hemorrhage and dies, right? So she's unable to communicate this, and they're unable to, I guess, mend those fences or just break up, right? So there's like a lot of things that go unsaid. So the movies, I think it's all about like communication. But unfortunately, like you said, Tyrone, this movie is long. And I think it is daring you to finish it. It's like you can't finish this shit. It is daring you. It is.
I felt that test numerous of times. Yeah. I fell asleep more in this film than Matrix, and you was right next to me.
But I think you probably stayed awake in that because there's like something visual for you to watch in the Matrix.
Yeah.
This one, there's not a lot. It's shot really well, right?
Yeah.
But the things that are shot are not what you expect. There's like a lot of landscapes, endless shots of the car just driving down the street, sometimes in complete silence. And it just goes on and on and on. But the parts that you expect to be filmed or be cinematic are not there. It's literally just someone telling a story. So I think this is going to be a tough film for most people to watch. And I think this is a test for the Oscars. I think the Oscars are trying not to be the pretentious nose in the air type of people. And yet at the same time, they're also trying to not be a white boys club. So this is a film with a bunch of non-white people, and it's highly respected. And I don't know what the Oscars are going to do, because this is the perfect Oscar film for them, right? This is exactly what they want. They want some kind of hoity-toity thing, something that most people won't understand. Most people probably won't like it. Yeah. But
they might parasite this thing again.
I don't think they will, because this film will not reach, I don't think, a wide enough audience like Parasite. Because Parasite had a fast pace. It was very obvious what the movie was about.
It was shorter.
Yeah, it was shorter. This movie is long and it is slow.
I mean, slower than The Power of the Dog. And Power of the Dog was slow.
Yeah, this is, again, like I said, this movie feels like a dare. Like this isn't even like a slow burn. Like a slow burn to me is like it picks up momentum. The highest part of this film happens early on, and then after that, the film just kind of like slows down to a coast until it just ends, and you're like, "What?" So it's very slow.
I thought things were gonna pick up when the dude that spoiler here if you're gonna see it, but when the dude that he hired to play him, when he got arrested for knocking somebody out and killing him, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna see some stuff." Nope, the dude just caved in and just said, "All right, yeah, I did
it." and he killed that guy off screen. He literally like walked off screen. He was like, he left the movie to go kill a man. Like they didn't show nothing.
Oh man!
But I think the film is trying to say our main character and that guy, they have like a whole conversation, and that guy who killed the other guy. He says the phrase, "I killed him, I killed him, I killed him." He says it like 9 times in the car, right? So in a way, this is like him admitting that he knows he just beat somebody to death, 10 minutes before this conversation. And he's more or less admitting it, but he's not tackling it head on. So I think this movie is about like having a certain amount of power in your life, but also at the same time being able to relinquish power.
But also not communicating any of that. Not communicating any of that to the people that's around you in any type of emote.
Yeah. Everyone's very stoic. Like they're very like everyone stands very still and they're very stoic. Even at the point there's a point near the end where our main character and his driver are like breaking down. You know what I'm saying? And even then, there's still a lot unsaid, right? And they kind of leave it unsaid. And I guess when you're watching a film, you kind of want to see things. You kind of want to experience things, but you're just kind of told. You're told this story of this terrible landslide. You're told the story of her cheating with multiple of his wife cheating with multiple guys, but we really don't see it. And again, it is deeply uncinematic and cold, icy. And the movie seems to know it's cold because the color blue everywhere. The movie
everywhere,
which is a cold color, the coldest color. So it's like this movie knows it's cold. It knows it's long. That's why it feels like to me like a dare. It's like I dare you to quit this film. And I bet a lot of people did.
I was holding the remote like. Don't you do it. Don't you do this to me.
I bet a lot of people did. And what's interesting is like I said, these are our main character is a storyteller. So he often tells stories, and his wife is a storyteller, and she tells stories. And I thought the story that his wife told was way more interesting than the actual movie.
The burglar. Well, we didn't know it was a burglar at the end before because she didn't say who that last one that came in the crib.
Yeah, but I'm like, hey, I want to see that movie.
Yeah, almost remind me of the Invisible Man, but without everybody else.
But we don't get that. We just kind of hear it from a distance, which again leaves that icy cold feeling.
Yeah, it's one thing to show your audience these things that someone is talking about, but it's another thing to just say it and then just have your audience just be like, there you go. So
and by the end of the film, I'll be honest, I watched the film, I think I get it, but I think there are layers here that I did not pick up, and I at the moment feel no interest in going back and spending another 3 hours to figure out what I left on the floor.
Exactly. Well, tough film. Let's get into our rating for this thing. It was shot beautifully. That the main character I kind of feel like he did carry this film as much as he could when it comes to the stories that he was saying, his breakdown at the end about how he really wanted to see his wife, but he can't. But the reasons that he wanted to see his wife was because he wanted to basically like, you bitch.
Berate her.
But also
which he never did when she was alive.
No, never did that. But he also just wanted to apologize and all the stuff he wanted to do both. But he broke down, and kudos to that actor. I have to take away a lot of points for how many times it made me snore, for how many times it just dragged on. So I'm going to give this film a 5.5.
Okay, yeah. This is a slow film. I'm going to give this one a 6.5. Fuck it, I'll give it a 7. Yeah, I'll give it a 7. Only because I did think this was a really pretty film, and I thought it was acted really well. Because like you said, to be able to, like, I guess, express that complicated feeling of wanting to love someone, but also wanting to choke them, all at the same time, that really takes a lot. So it's just too bad that didn't happen in a more interesting movie. You know what I mean? He had really complex feelings about his wife, but then his driver had complex feelings about her mother and about how she loved her mother and hated her mother at the same time. And then she just happened to be the same age as his dead daughter. So you can see like this father-daughter thing going on, But I will say, sometimes this is the kind of movie that I hate to watch. Only because I know that when you say you love movies, this is the kind of movie people expect you to like. And this movie feels like a painting in a museum. You ever been to a museum?
Yes.
And you're like, yeah, you're like, but you legit don't get it. You're like, I don't get it.
But then when somebody come up and ask you, be like, sir, what do you think about this painting? Do you see the pain inside his eyes? And you're like, yeah, I see the pain.
Exactly. That's exactly what this film is like, where it feels a little pretentious. It feels like you're reading into things that might not be there, but maybe they are there. I don't know. And your mileage on whether or not you care if it's there will vary. And I think 99.99% of people will not give a rat's ass about what this film's about. And I think after that first 45 minutes, I don't blame you if you just checked out right then. I think you got a little short story right there.
Really, man, I was that 45 minutes, man. I was like, I got what I needed.
Right. So I don't recommend this film. I think most people you would probably watch something else. And I think everyone would agree that this movie is too long. It's too long. You could probably make an hour and a half film just out of the silent driving. Just scene after scene of the car just rolling down the street. You could probably do that. And the movie stops and has long moments where we see them practice this play. And it feels like you're like, why are we watching the whole rehearsal? We watched the whole rehearsal?
Yeah.
And you're like, why? And again, it kind of brings to a point where you're like, oh, okay, I see. There's some tension between these two characters. But it's like, did we need to see that much of the rehearsal to get that? Nah, dog. Nah.
So I gave this film a 5.5. Devin gave this film a pity 7. We don't recommend this film for you. We just recommend this people for bougie art collectors. So
yeah, if you think you can read into this somehow or pick up something really deep, hey, go for it, But I didn't. I was like, I can get these same feelings from a better movie.
Yep. So that is our review for Drive My Car. We watch the movie so you don't have to. So if you could do us a favor, look down there to your right, people. There's a subscribe button right there. Go ahead and hit it. It's lovely. You can go ahead and hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything we do right here on Mostly Wrong Opinions. And you can leave a thumbs up if you like this review of this film. Or you can leave a thumbs down and you'll be like, I like to get lost into the void of all films, okay? And get lost into the story, even though there's a story. That's not a story. It's all story.
It's like stories within a story.
Go ahead if you want it. That is your opinion, but just remember one thing. It is mostly wrong. See you guys in another video.